Wow. Wow. Welcome. Welcome to the author identity. How to avoid being a one hit wonder. This is probably going to be one of the best conversations that I facilitate in my life because this has to do with who you are as a person, who you are as a professional, and who you are as an author. So, author identity, this is going to be the most powerful conversation that I ever have with anybody. You know why? Because I've realized that this is the conversation that I've been having all along with all my clients, everyone. But I didn't know what to call it. I wasn't sure what words to use to describe what I've been helping people do since 2018, right? I'm not new to this, I'm true to this. And so, what I'm going to talk to you about today is something that is so incredible and so powerful. This conversation is going to help you in every area of your life. It's going to help you in the literary world because the people who are attracted to me are authors or writers, bloggers, creatives. It's going to help you communicate better with your family. This is going to help you elevate your whole life, your whole existence, your energy. It's going to be better. This is going to teach you how to have courageous conversations with people when you really don't want to. And I see someone's watching. Hi. It tells me that someone's watching, but it doesn't tell me your name or what platform you're on. So if you could put your name and what platform you're on, I would greatly appreciate that. That helps me analyze my data for every conversation. And so this is powerful. I hope you have a pen and a paper. I hope you have some libations. Whoops. Water, wine, tea, whatever. I hope you have your libations, and I hope you have the willingness to be coachable and teachable, because those two qualities will help you advance in life if you are coachable and teachable. If you feel like you know everything and you feel like you're the smartest one in the room, you need to get into another room, because that's a dangerous place to be, where you know everything or you think you know everything, right? We never know everything. We just, in our minds, we've been doing something, we've been operating in a way for so long that we feel like, I got this, I know this, and you do know your expertise. Everyone knows their expertise, but you don't know everything. And so I want you to avoid being a one-hit wonder. I want you to avoid going out into the world, making a lot of assumptions and miscommunicating and being misunderstood. I want you to avoid that whole process. You know why? How do I know about this? Because I have done it. I have gone out into the world doing things and making assumptions, right? And then turning around and feeling like I was misunderstood. And so I want to have this conversation with you. I want to talk to you about this. And I want you to listen and take it in. Let it sink into your your mind, your body, and your soul. Let it sink into your bones and take action, right? I'm going to give you a couple of things to do to take action, but I'm also going to give you qualities of a successful author. I'm going to give you some qualities, and I'm going to take you back. For those of you that are just now getting to hear me, see me, thank you. I appreciate you being here. You could be on any channel in the world, and you decided to be here on this channel. So thank you very much. I appreciate you. If you're just now learning about what I do, I am an author. I have written 8 books myself and published them myself. I am a coach. I have coached 50 authors on their journey. Most of them published nonfiction works in the form of a memoir or biography or autobiography. That is my jam, so you know that. I also am into self-help and personal development. So if you have work that's in that area of personal development and self-help, especially under spirituality and healing, I love those topics. So that's what I do. I have been creating and discovering my own identity forever. I've been writing since I was 12, and I've been researching, putting together reports and research papers and doing a lot of reading. I've been doing that kind of stuff since I was 15. I always loved the written word. I always loved looking at artifacts. No, it's no wonder I majored in history. It's no wonder I taught social studies. It's no wonder I taught English. Words are so powerful. The written word is powerful. The spoken word is powerful as well. Words are powerful. And so I take my identity very seriously. I take this topic very seriously because who you are in the world and who you are behind closed doors, it should be the same thing, right? Who you are at work and who you are with your kids, it should be the exact same thing. Who you are even with your spouse, your partner, and who you are with your parents, it should be the same thing. You should be the same person with integrity, the same person with your beliefs and your values. The same thing that you stand for in your own home is what you should stand for outside in public. Like, that's what we mean by having integrity and showing up in your full power of who you are. And that's also what we mean by showing up with your true, authentic voice. One of the things that I was able to discover through writing was that I have my own personal, true, authentic voice. My voice is my voice. It's not like anybody else's. Yeah, I have a teacher voice because I was a teacher for 20 years. And, they teach us, well, they don't even teach us how to have a teacher voice. We just naturally, you heard that volume went up. The tone shifted a little bit. The teacher voice is, hello, sit down and be quiet. I got information that's going to help you change your life. That's the teacher voice. And so I've had that since birth, and I didn't know what it was until I started teaching. And now I use my voice to show love for other people, to communicate with other people, to inspire and uplift other people, to pour in to other people. I work with servant leaders. Servant leaders are those people who always fill everybody else's cup. And when it's time for theirs, it's empty because you're so outwardly focused on everyone else. You don't focus on you. And so those are the folks that I help, the people who have been serving everyone else and now they're ready to finally get their dream done because they want to get their book out and they want to get on stage before they get too damn old to be able to walk up the stairs to get to the stage. Those are the people I work with. The people who are finally ready to make the investment into their own self. That's who I work with. And so I want to share with you, wherever you are on your journey, I want to share with you the author identity. What is it that authors do? What do they dream about? What are they talking about, right? What are authors feeling? And how are they moving in the world, right? If you think about the most famous people in the world from history, you could just name them. Your list will be different from my list. You think about anybody who's really made a difference and changed something in the world, those people knew how to use words to inspire and uplift people, right? Those people understood how to put messages together to cause a change. Like the authors in societies, those are the change agents. That's why you hear about books being banned, right? Books being banned, that's nothing new. People trying to silence other people, that's nothing new. Power structures feeling intimidated by voices that speak a different truth, that's nothing new, right? And so I don't want you to fall into this trap of becoming a one-hit wonder and experiencing success and tasting it and then letting it slip through your fingers. I don't want that to be you. I don't want you to go out here and produce a book and think that it's all about the book. Because it's not about the book, boo. It's about you. People want the book because they want you. They want your story, your message. They want your energy. They want your inspiration. And how do I know? Because when I came out with my book in 2017, it was my personal story about how I dealt with my life. And it had to do with anxiety, depression, and overwhelm at work. It had to do with me people pleasing, trying to overachieve, and do way more than I should have been doing. It was about me trying to do everybody's job. And I had to learn how to stop and sit down and be quiet and go over there and write in my diary. I had to learn how to do that. I had to learn how to restructure my entire lifestyle so that I could actually be consistently emotionally stable. Because if you are not consistently emotionally stable and you allow all the winds of change to blow you around like a leaf or like a tree branch, you won't be successful. You have to be solid, 10 toes down, with belief in yourself. Even when there's nobody else believing in you, even when you don't hear anybody clapping for you or cheering for you, you got to clap for your damn self. If you've never had to clap for your damn self, get used to it. Because the ideas that come out of your brain, they're very unique. If you're attracted to me, then you are the kind of person who has a voice that is different from other people's. They don't understand it. They don't get it. And the more you come into your own true, authentic self, people are going to be like, what is up with her? She's too much. I was telling somebody the other day, when I learned my own worth and my own value, I became a real pain in the ass for other people. When people discovered that they couldn't shift me and move me and manipulate me and use me and disrespect me, when people learn that I have boundaries, they're like, oh, she's a pain in the ass. And I am a pain in the ass for people who don't understand my mission that I'm on. I'm on a mission. I'm operating on purpose, in purpose for my life and what I'm supposed to be doing. And the people who follow me, those are people who are on a similar path, similar mission. And sometimes, guess what happens? Sometimes we're on a similar path and we're like this, and then you outgrow me and you go your own way. That happens too. And that's completely fine. I've been on this journey for a long time, and I've seen a lot of people come and a lot of people go. And that's because we have something called free will. Even God won't try to control us. Think about that. You got a lot of people trying to control people, but even God won't control us. Even God gave us free will. Think about that. We got free will. We can make our own decisions, good, bad, or indifferent. We own our consequences of our behavior. We're responsible for ourselves. And so let me share with you a little bit about how I developed and how I discovered my author identity. I discovered my author identity after I published my first book in 2017. It was a memoir. I published it myself. I put it out into the world. I got a helper. I got one person to help me edit it. And I was really inexperienced. I didn't know what I was doing. The cover is not even all that impressive. I didn't think it was all that impressive, to be honest. But what people wanted to know was, wow, how did you survive all of that? Because I broke it down and talked about everything I've been through up to that point. And people were like, whoa, I don't understand how you're still smiling and you're still happy, but you've been through a lot. I'm like, the stuff that happened to me happened for me. It wasn't a setback. It was a setup for a hell of a comeback. That's what it was. None of that stuff can hurt me anymore. It already happened. It's in the past. The people who said the things that they said, okay. The people that did the things that they did, there's something called karma. And so that was the first question that people asked me. Oh my gosh, how did you, even one of my friends was like, I didn't even know you were going through all of this. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I should have been there for you, blah, blah, blah. I said, girl, don't take it personal. It's not about you. That's, you know that you've written something really good when other people start having feelings about it. They be feeling some type of way. You know that you're on to something really great when people have feelings and they're like emotional. This is how you know you're on to something really good. And sometimes those emotional responses, sometimes they're negative. I'm one of those people that when I walk into a room, you're going to feel something. You're going to feel something because I'm going to feel something, right? You either going to love me and fall in love with me and be like, oh my gosh, she's amazing, or you're going to hate me. There really is no in between. People love me or they hate me because I'm going to call out the things in you that I see that you're not living in. Because I've had to do that for myself, and I've had to show up in front of my coaches and allow them to identify in me the things that I'm not living up to. That's called personal accountability, and it's also called being coachable and teachable. And so people who are not ready to be taught and to be coached, Those are the people who don't want to see me walk through the room. They don't want to see me walk through the door. But the people who are coachable, teachable, ready to learn, those are the people that are on the edge of their seat like, yes, let's go. I got you. What you got for me? Tell me about my mess and help me get up out of this. For those of you that are on a path of greatness and you're like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm all screwed up. I can help you get your life all the way fixed up. But you have to be coachable and teachable, and you have to be willing to learn who you are. So that first book for me, that was my first identity crisis, because I was like, can I write a book? Can I publish a book? Does anybody give a damn about this book? And trust me, I had someone contact me and say, can I give you some corrective feedback on your book? I was like, absolutely, let's go. Opened up a Zoom, 2-hour Zoom meeting of them slicing and dicing my book. I said, let's go. Because what they don't know is I already did that in college. We would sit around in a circle as history majors, and we would turn in our research papers to each other. The professors were in another room doing their thing. Us students as history majors, we were iron sharpens iron at 18, 19, and 20 years old. And we were ripping up each other's papers with red ink. And we were talking about, this don't make sense. That needs to go back, blah, 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 blah. And I went to a historically Black college. So we are just straight up about what it is. And so my writing has been through the ringer. The things that I put out, other people evaluate all the time. I'm used to that. I'm used to being criticized. I'm used to getting the corrective feedback. I'm used to being coached. I welcome it. Help me get better. Because that's all it does. It helps me get better. And sometimes it pisses me off. And then it makes me work harder. So that's what they didn't know when they pulled me into that 2-hour Zoom meeting and wanted to tell me about how my book would be perceived and how my book wouldn't be successful and what they thought about it. And I took it all in the whole 2 hours, and then I processed afterwards, and I went to sleep on it, prayed on it, woke up the next day, and Holy Spirit said, they're not even in your target audience. Why you even care what they say? Because I was like, oh my God. Why do you worry about people who are not even in your target audience? That person who gave me all that constructive feedback was never going to buy my book in the first place because it wasn't for them. So for those of y'all that are around here worried and scared because you're thinking, oh my gosh, somebody's going to give me some negative feedback. Yeah, you're going to get negative feedback. But you got to sit back and remember, did I actually write this book for them? Most of the time, the people who were giving you all this negative feedback, they were never going to buy your book in the first place, boo. It's easy to sit in the cheap seats and throw fruits and vegetables at the people who are in the arena, right? Brene Brown said something that I think is so amazing, and I'm not going to even try to quote it because I'm going to mess it up. But basically, I'm going to give you a Cliff Note version of what she said. I'm going to give you a summary, and it's a quote. She basically was like, I don't have time to take constructive criticism from somebody who's not in the arena getting their ass kicked like me. The people who are giving you all this feedback, they're not in the arena getting their ass kicked. You are. So why don't you look to the left and look to the right and look at the people who are ahead of you and get the feedback from them? Because they're in the arena and they're getting their ass kicked like the rest of us. It's easy to sit back in the cheap seats and throw stuff. People can do that all day long. So that was just a little bit of how I discovered my identity. I had to figure out, who am I in this world? Number one, I'm a human being, right? I'm a child of the Most High God, right? Like, I have a tattoo right here. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. That's my identity. But I also have an identity as an author. I have a brand as an author. And I take that responsibility very, very, very seriously, because the words that I say and the things that I do are going to go down in history forever. And that's how you need to think about yourself. The words that you say and the things that you do, it's going to go down in history forever, especially because we have all of these technological tools at our disposal. We could be live streaming. Thank you, StreamYard. I'm live streaming on Facebook, 2 of my Facebook groups, LinkedIn, Twitter, and I'm on YouTube. That's why I keep looking up, like, am I still on all these platforms? This is amazing to me. And I know I'm late to the party. I'm always late to the party. I know that. I know that y'all have been using StreamYard forever for your podcasting and for whatever. But like, I'm one of those history majors that's like, I want to wait until everyone else gets to use the technology. And then once they work out all the bugs, then I'll come in and use it and act like I've always been here. Like, right? That's the kind of person I am. I used to be, when I used to go to the movies and I used to watch TV and all that stuff. I don't do that anymore, but I used to go, and actually I didn't even go to the movies. I waited until the stuff came out on DVD, VHS, whatever. That's how much. I mean, it's my mama's fault, because she never really let us watch TV. And so I really don't know what's going on in the news. I used to. I used to follow all of that. When I used to teach social studies, we did current events. We had political debates. We talked about the economy, and we talked about so many different things. And then I was like, am I actually teaching these kids any skills to pay the bills? No. So let me get some information that's actually going to help them make a transformation in their lives. And then I started focusing on things like psychology and financial literacy. And oh man, when I had my students read Rich Dad Poor Dad, it was a wrap. I mean, I had these kids thinking about income producing activities, right? Multiple streams of income. How to build a financial foundation for your family. What about your legacy? What about your estate planning? Like, these are the things that we need to be teaching people, because these are the skills that help people pay their bills. And that's just a small little sliver of my frustration with the educational system. That's just a little small sliver of my frustration with it. Because your identity, you don't find it in school. You're not going to find your identity in school. You're going to be all jacked up if you expect them to teach you who you are. You better show up knowing who you are. You're going to get railroaded badly, right? And so I had to uncover, unveil, and discover who I am as a person. And I had to start really, this is why I always say journaling and brain dumping. I had to go inside deep and start asking my creator, why did you create me? What is this all for? What's the meaning of life, right? You have to ask those questions in order to be able to really, honestly, know who you are. Otherwise, you don't know who you are. So the first book came out, and then in 2018, somebody asked me, well, that was a good book. I like that book. It was real short. I read it real quick. Are you going to write another book? And I was like, no. Here I am, 8 books later. But at that time, I was like, I'm not writing another book. Come on now. Let me mind my business and go back into my classroom. How about that? Why don't I just do that? And more people started, are you going to write another book? You going to write another book? And I was like, why? And then I started doing more research and more studying. And I was like, oh, wow, this might be a part of my calling. And so I had to shift my mindset from being a teacher inside of the box, inside of the four walls. I had to go from being a teacher to being an author. What does that mean? What does it mean to be an author? I didn't know. I had to investigate and come up with this whole idea about how do I operate as a person who has a voice that people actually listen to. I had to think about that. Like, what is our responsibility if we're an author and we're putting out messages and we're communicating to massive audiences? What does that mean? I had to think about that. And for me, the more questions people asked me, the deeper I went. I just took a deep dive into all kinds of topics. I'm like that. I take a deep dive. Thank God for YouTube and binge watching and being able to do all this research with Google. My brain is just like always lit up with information, right? And I used to think that this was useless information. I used to think, why am I reading all this stuff? Why am I studying all these useless facts? It turns out that a lot of the facts that I learned in school, I actually am using now. All the reading and the writing and the research that I did, it actually is paying off. That's why my logo is a book, because I've had my nose in a book for a long time. But they weren't the books that the teachers were assigning. They were books that actually taught me something about life, like the scriptures, like the Bible, right? These are things that will help you in your regular daily life. These are the things that you need to be studying so that you can become a more powerful person and have more positive impact and more positive influence on people, and really make a difference in this world and change things for the better, right? And so 2018, I wrote a book about parenting, and it was a hot mess. It was a hot mess because I had an 18-year-old and I was like, man, I don't know what to do with this adult child. And so this is the book that I came up with, and people laughed at it. People still do laugh at it, but it was a love letter from me to my 18-year-old daughter. And I'm going to read a little bit of it right now because I love it. It's actually really funny. All right. So I'm going to read the dedication page. The dedication page says, this book is dedicated to my 3 beautiful daughters who inspire me every day. I am so blessed. I might start crying. I am so blessed to have all of you in my life. Yeah, this is going to be a tearjerker. You all have so many talents that I know will take you far. Keep pushing the boundaries as you do, girls. You are all boss ladies. And then I name my youngest one and I say, keep on cracking me up, please. You are so funny and charismatic. It is easy to be around you. Do not change when you become a teenager in 4 years. Continue to be yourself. That's to my youngest one. My middle one, I said, keep on being athletic and beautiful. You are an amazing leader and a teacher. You are already making a great impact on this world because you are already because you are already, I don't know if I can get this out. You are already coaching young children in the athletic arena. Greatness is your legacy. And I am so proud of you. Wow, that was hard. And then the last part of the dedication is to my oldest, who turned 18 the year that I wrote this. And so this is a love letter to all of my kids, but especially her, because she was giving me a run for my money. Hello, my adult child. This is my official launch of you into the world. You are an adult now with many choices to make. You are the most beautiful, brave young woman I've ever known. You amaze me and you surprise me. And I'm so proud to be your mom. I'm so excited to see what God has in store for you as you prepare to enter your first career. Best wishes, my beloved firstborn baby girl. And this book, that's just one page. There's another section where I ask people, I am going to read this one because this is really good. There's a section of this book where I ask people on Facebook, what advice would you give to an 18-year-old? And I let them know, you're actually helping me write a book because I'm writing this for my 18-year-old who needs to know what to expect now that she's an adult. And let me see if I can find the page of all my Facebook friends. I mean, oh my gosh, so many advice from Facebook. Here we go, page 67. And I need to really, what is it? Is it 67? Yeah, 67. I really need to have some tissues. I didn't know it was going to go this way. Yeah, here we go. So, wow. And then there's so many things in here that I forgot about. Okay. All right, there's pages and pages of quotes from people who were adults sharing their advice. I just love this. All right, so the first one is the advice from Spring Violet. She says, have friends, travel, and explore. And then Amici Sanders says, you not grown yet. Because she's only 18. This came from Clint Lamont. Don't be an example of poor decisions, but set the example of a leader. And that's all I'm going to read. There's too much that I can just get emotional. Wow. Okay, so here's the book. Where is it? Can you see it? It's called, I'll give you the title if you want to look it up. Where's my lighting? Okay. It's called Sorry Boo, comma, Mommy Lied. Now that you're 18, you can handle the truth. So there's 10 lies that parents tell their kids, like Santa Claus. And I break down why I lied about those things and why I'm coming out with the truth now, why it's important for parents to come out with the truth now, right away, and why, excuse me, why there's such a gap between my generation, which is Generation X, and my children, who are Gen Z and very young millennial. I have a super young millennial, but my other two are Gen Z. And so I talk about the huge generation gap between my generation, my daughter's generation, and even my younger kids' generation, the difference in values and how it's important for us to still come together and have these conversations. So my books are love letters. The first book that I wrote, my memoir, was a love letter from me to me saying, you're okay. I still love you. You're good. You got this. And then my second book, it was a love letter to my oldest daughter. Sorry, boo, mommy lied. And then my next book is basically it's a love letter between me and my audience of authors who want to become successful. And so that was my next book. And then I did 2 collaborations throughout 2020. You know, there was a group of us teachers. We were feeling very frustrated. And we wanted to write a love letter to the kids because we knew it was going to be hard. We knew what was going to happen with Zoom school. We already knew the disaster that was to come. And so we said, we need to put out a book or maybe even a series of books for kids to read. I'll just show you the book. This is the book. And we knew that we needed a communication tool. We knew we needed something to connect us to the kids. We knew we needed to shift their focus and give them some hope and inspiration and let them know we've been through worse. We were born in the 70s and came of age in the 80s and went to college in the 90s and started getting married in the 2000s. And we've been through way worse. So that's what we wanted the kids to know in 2020. You're at home. It's Zoom school. It sucks. But guess what? We want you to keep your mind on those books. Because guess what? I heard somebody say, don't allow school to ruin your education. And so it doesn't matter if you're in school, in the walls, right? Or if you're online or wherever you are. This is our love letter. This is our love letter. It's a letter from teachers to the kids that had to go through the world being upside down and trying to do school from home. And so that's the first. We're probably going to do a couple of follow-up books. I can feel it coming because we're in the aftermath now. And there's so many ramifications and so many there's a lot of collateral damage. I'll just put it that way. And so I could feel another book coming out of that. But anyway, And then I wrote another book with a group of public speakers. And this was also in 2020. This book came out in 2021, but we worked on it. We worked on it in 2020. And so actually both of these books became Amazon bestsellers within the same 30-day period. So I'm really proud of both of these books. This one is Visibility, and success stories from elite leaders making an impact from the stage. This was a collaboration. So I had two collaborations. Two collaborations come out in the same year. And they're both Amazon bestsellers within the same 30-day period. And so I had two bestsellers on Amazon at the same time. And why do I share all of this? Because this all has to do with your identity. Like, I didn't know who I was until I knew, right? And how did I know? I had to do a lot of research on myself. And I had to listen to the feedback that other people were giving me. And even to this day, I'm still getting feedback from people because people experience you a certain way. And it's a little bit different than how you envision it, right? And so it's important for you to listen to the feedback that other people give you. And so for me, I've identified 3 characteristics of a successful author, okay? There's 3 main characteristics, and then there's a whole bunch of other qualities. But I'm just going to focus on these 3 main characteristics. And if you can grab a hold of these 3 characteristics, and if you can embody them as fast as you possibly can, then you can be a successful author very, very quickly. And you can stay relevant. And the people who are assigned to you, they will find you. But you have to show up. Okay, so here's the 3 qualities. And these 3 qualities are also bundled. I'm going to give you some bundles. We love bundles. I was talking to somebody today and she was like, at your next event, why don't you do a raffle and give out a basket of books? And I was like, what? I was like, thank you for the brilliance that comes out of your mouth. I was like, yes, ma'am, I shall do that immediately. Because I was like, whoa, I've done raffles before, but I've never done a bundle basket. So I'm like, that's a hit. So my next event is this Thursday night. So 2 days from now, and it's going to be a writing clinic. If you've never been to a writing clinic before, it's like a sports clinic. I'm a coach. I got my whistle. I got my clipboard and my pen. And I go around the room in the Zoom room and I ask people to read what they have out loud. And then I give feedback and other people give feedback. It is a phenomenal experience. So if you've never been a part of a writing clinic, and this is free, and you want to come to this free 99 event, raise your hand. I'll make sure you get the link immediately. Okay. If you're on here with me live, just raise your hand and say, hey, I'm live. Can I get that link? And I'll make sure I send it. If you're watching this on the replay, welcome replay. I love you. Make sure you drop a comment. I'm always checking comments. I'm always paying attention to what you're saying to me. Feedback is important. Feedback is extremely important. Good, bad, indifferent. Good, bad, ugly, whatever. Corrective, whatever. And so I'm going to give you these 3 characteristics of the author identity, but I definitely wanted to plug that because if you're a writer and you have a hard time staying focused, like that's one of the things that I struggle with. And so I've created strategies to help myself with that, success strategies. So I'll be taking a deep dive and sharing those success strategies with you during the writing clinic on Thursday, which is this Thursday. March 7th, 2024 at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. So that's 6:30 Central and that's 4:30 Pacific. Okay? All right, I had to do a plug for that. Okay, so now here are the three characteristics of the author identity. This is who you need to become in order to become a successful author so that you can avoid being a one-hit wonder. You don't want to be a one-hit wonder. Trust me, it's embarrassing. It's like you tasted it and now it's like slipped through your fingers. You're like, what happened? Because you didn't develop your identity. You worked on the book and you marketed and you sold the book, but you didn't sell you. That's what you got to get. Okay. All right. So it's ABC because I'm a teacher and I like breaking stuff down real simple, preschool, kindergarten style, Head Start. A is for authority. As an author, you have authority. How do you know you have authority? When someone walks into the room, how do you know they have authority? It's their presence. It's the way they stand tall. It's the way they shake your hand. It's the way they have eye contact and they smile at you or they don't, right? Your authority is the way that you show up. It's also the words that come out of your mouth, the way you speak. You command attention. You command respect because you're speaking the truth. And you're being honest and you're being authentic. You are being your true authentic self and you're calling it like you see it. You're calling the bullshit when you need to call the bullshit. You're calling the excellence and the greatness when you see the excellence and the greatness. And you're calling it the way that you see it from your perspective. And so that's A. The author identity is wrapped around having authority. And number 2 is B, it's brand, right? You show up as yourself and you tell your story. My brand is me, teacher to author to coach to speaker, right? My whole brand is built around my story, which is being an educator in the classroom, but also having this heart, just an entrepreneurial, spirited heart, a very rebellious, pioneering spirit, right? That's where the author busted out into the world. And I'm like, who is this woman? She's been in me all this time and I didn't know. Like, that's my brand. Teacher, author. All of a sudden I became a different person, right? I had to allow myself to express what I had always been holding back and stop being a people pleaser and an overachiever and so super polite and diplomatic and like say what I need to say. I have to say what I have to say, right? So that's all a part of my brand. It's all a part of who I am. Education has always been a priority for me. And I was taught that by my mama. My mama's a teacher. My daughter is a teacher. I'm a teacher. We got teaching in our blood, right? My mom's also a coach, and I'm a coach. And I'm an entrepreneur, and I've been an entrepreneur since I was 12 years old, braiding people's hair, babysitting, right? Ironing clothes, cleaning clothes, not getting no allowance for doing none of that stuff at the house because those were job skills that I was learning. My mama said, go make some business for yourself. And I was like, bet. Is that what's going to free me from the shackles of you? We laugh now because we're tight. We tight. We airtight. But you know, mamas and daughters go through their stuff. That we go through our ups and downs. Me and my 3, we go through stuff. But we understand each other as women and we give each other our space and our boundaries. And we are all independent queens. And that's just how it is. We're queens. Ain't no princesses up in my house. I don't raise princesses. I raise queens from the day one. And that's how my mama raised me. Day one, you better be responsible. You better be independent. You better be a leader. Don't be no follower. You better get out there and make some business for yourself. You better make some money. You better go do what you want to do on your terms. Get your hair done. Get your nails done. Go get you a massage. Don't be waiting on somebody to make you happy. You better go find some joy. You better go talk to the creator about what you're supposed to be on this earth to do. And so all of that educational verbiage, that's a part of my brand. And my kids would say, everything has to be educational. Yes. We would go read books. Whenever I wanted to talk to them about a sensitive topic, we would go to the library and get a book. Hence the book. Everything you need to know can be found in a book. Everything. Put your nose in a book. I'm a living, breathing testimony of the power of a book. I've been reading books since before I could even really have a coherent conversation, right? Because my mama put me in Head Start and they weren't playing. We were on the carpet like this. Story time, boys and girls. I'm talking about 3 and 4 years old. Listening, observing, asking questions in my head. Wasn't able to really explain it or articulate it, but the wheels were turning in my brain early. And so that's B. What is your story? What is your background? What are your beliefs? What are your values? That's all about branding. Okay, that's branding. All right, the third part of the author identity, and I'm about to wrap it up because I've already been on here an hour. The third part of the author identity. Yes, same. Oh, Tracy's here. Same at home from a young age. Ah, so glad to see you here, Tracy. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for showing up for me. Thank you for showing up for them. Thank you for showing up for yourself. I appreciate you. And you're on Twitter. Hey, what's up, Twitter? Come through. Thank you. You're awesome. Yeah, I'm not able to see. I can see that there's people watching, but I'm not able to see what platform they're on or the name. So you guys have to engage with me. No. You're not late at all. You're right on time. I usually go live at I usually start at 5, but today I started early because I have a dinner date tonight. So no, you're not late at all. Matter of fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop the link right after I'm done, because Tracy, you would love the writing clinic on Thursday night. It's all about writers coming in, sharing ideas, getting feedback, inspiring each other to write, right? Because that's one thing that the writers that come to me, they say, I'm a writer. I know I'm a good writer, but I never write. And I'm like, why? And they're like, well, because I don't have time. And I'm like, okay, you do know you create time, right? And they're like, yeah. But I was the same way. And I literally procrastinated. So I don't judge people at all. I support people. I help people. I encourage and inspire. I don't judge people, because I had a book idea in my belly for 12 years. And my friend told me to write about it and I didn't. And it literally caused me to get sick, physically sick, because I wasn't living in my purpose and I wasn't being my true authentic self. So the little person inside of me was like, have not yet wrote, but have a strong message to share. Absolutely. We all have a story. We all have a message. But those of us that are servant leaders, we have a duty and a responsibility, because people look up to us. They follow us. They are inspired by our stories. And so we must provide practical steps for how people can change their life. Yeah, living with MS for 28 years. Wow. For me, what did I have? I had a tumor in here that was removed right before I wrote my book. And I also had a hernia. And I also was diagnosed in 2007, way before I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. And I talk about that in my memoir. And so those are my major health crises. I don't have a whole lot of health issues, but those 3 things brought me to a standstill. And I had to sit with myself and say, all right, I had 2 surgeries back to back. And I was like, all right, I'm laying here and I'm healing. And so I need to just be writing my book. That's just what I'm going to do. It's done. Right. And so was the push that caused me to not be pregnant anymore. And I'm so glad that I'm not pregnant anymore with that book, because it was 12 years and I was like, ah. And so I'm free. I'm free. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I share that all. People who are in my Facebook group, they know my story. They know my background because it's my brand. And that's the thing about people talk about branding, and they talk about, oh, you gotta da 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 da, and it's the logo, and it's not the logo. It is the story behind the brand. It's the story behind the face, the story behind the product. Like, too many authors focus on, this book has got to be perfect, and this book is like, no, you have to know how to sell the book, but you also have to know how to sell you. It's about you, boo. People love you. They want more of you. It's not about the book. People love the book, that it's okay. They're going to be done with reading it in like a day or 2 or 3 days. Because people, I don't know about you guys, but I know people who consume information fast. And so that was one of my inspirations for writing. And now I have 8 books. But I was writing so many books because my people were like, I already read it. Where's the next one? And I'm like, what? It's hard. But people they don't want just information. They want information that's going to help them. Excuse me. I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm too excited. Sorry. Sorry, not sorry. I don't apologize for being too excited. But what was I going to say? Branding. It's the story behind the story. There's always a story underneath the story. And so for me, my whole practice of the reason why I love helping people with memoirs is because my background is history and English. And that's all I read most of my life, other than the things that were assigned that I had to read. I read those too, but I read memoirs because I wanted to know, how are these successful, amazing, beautiful, famous people, how are they still thriving when they've gone through all these obstacles, right? Or wait a minute, how are they still successful? I didn't know they've been through all these different traumatic experiences. Like, what? They're like me. What? Huh? So I always read memoirs. So when I wrote my first book, it was a memoir. People asking for your next book. Yeah, people are always asking, when are you going to write another book? And I'm like, I only write books about things that people actually want to know. My first book, people didn't really want to know all of my own personal struggles, but it was helpful because, guess what? What that did was it let people see, well, damn, if she can do it, I can do it. Especially my teacher people who were teaching right alongside me at the same school. They're like, well, damn, if she can do it, I can do it. She's right here in front of me every day teaching. Yes. Anne Frank was a great book. Absolutely. And Anne Frank was a young author, and it was her diary, right? I mean, go figure. My journal became my memoir. Go figure. Real life is kind of interesting because you can't make the stuff up that people actually go through and experience. It's amazing. So I'm going to wrap this up. And I hope to see you guys at my writing clinic on Thursday. It's free 99. If you know anybody who is a writer, but they don't ever sit down to write because they just feel like they don't have time, this is a 2-hour writing clinic. I'm giving you the time to write it. Hello, what is the name of your book that helps you write in 90 days? Oh, that one. I'll send you the link to that one. Thank you for that question. It's called Your First Book Workbook. And it says Facebook user, but put your name up there so I know who it is. Because I can't see exactly who is asking the question. But thank you for the question. What else? Oh, so the number one characteristic is you have to have authority and you have to take authority. Okay. Number two is brand. You have to show up and tell your story. Your story is your brand. Okay. Mine is the book because that's been my whole life. I've been in love with reading. And so that's a part of my logo, but it's also a part of my story. So that's number two. And then number three is a wraparound. Okay. Number three is called crazy. It's a C, so because it's ABC, authority, brand, crazy content creation. I love it. There's three parts because what it means is once you bust open your mind and you surrender to the process and you get the first book done, you become like a machine. And I've seen this. I've helped 50 authors do this. And you become a machine. You have so much content and it just falls out. Because you're like, ah! Once you surrender to the process and you allow it to happen, it just happens. It just flows. It's amazing. So the last characteristic of your author identity is crazy content creation. You can't be a successful author if you're not constantly creating more content. You have to consistently create more brand new, fresh, original ideas. There's an endless supply of fresh, new, original ideas, and they're in here. And you might think, yeah, trust the process, Tracy. Absolutely. You might be thinking like, well, there's nothing new under the sun. Aren't all the great ideas already out? Like, hasn't everything that is going to be invented already invented? I read that quote in a book. I don't remember who said that. If you guys can Google that real quick and tell me who said that. Somebody was like in the 1890s. Well, I believe that everything that's going to be invented has already been invented. I think it was somebody that worked for the U.S. Patent Office or something like that. But that was such a ridiculous statement. But guess what? Somebody just posted in my Facebook group today. The reason why I don't write as much as I want to write is because I feel like all the good ideas are already taken. Like I feel like someone else already came up with that. And I'm like, girl, you don't need to reinvent the wheel, but create a better way to use the same wheel, right? Like create something that solves another problem that has to do with that wheel. Because wheels have a lot of attachments that go along with it, right? And so that's it. Those are your three characteristics of your author identity. And I don't want you to become a one-hit wonder, because what happens is you get out here and you're like, okay, the book is done. I'm excited. I'm going to launch it. It's going to be great. It's going to be amazing. And you do it. You put all your energy into it and then you burn out. And you don't realize this is a long game. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. It's not just about the first launch. Hello. It's about the second launch. It's about the book signing. It's about getting on stage. It's about the podcast. It's about the YouTube channel. It's about going live on multiple platforms at the same time. It's about having in-person events, retreats. It's about expansion of your brand and your whole life. It's not just about the book. It's about you, boo. Who are you? Who are you? Do you know? Have you spent enough time thinking about it? That's your homework. I want you to think about it. That's crazy, not even close, but the topic can be taught in a different way. Absolutely. Yeah, that was the funniest quote I ever read. And I think it was the U.S. Patent Office, like 1891. My brain is now pulling up that data. It's like 1891, somebody in the U.S. Patent Office said, well, everything that's been invented is already invented. And that was way before the airplane. What? Way before the rocket ships. What? Like, that just goes to show that some people are so small-minded and so limited. And guess what? When you argue for your limitations, you get to keep them. All the gurus say that. I love just hearing myself say that. All the gurus say that. When you argue for your limitations, you get to keep them, because you do. I used to argue for all kinds of things, especially when I was pregnant with my book. I was like, oh, well, I need to have a PhD. I don't have a PhD, so I can't write a book. And I told myself that for years. I need to get a PhD before I can write a book. I'm not intelligent enough. I'm not educated enough. And I have 4 college degrees, but I still felt like I needed to go back and get another degree. Really? Why? So that's it. That's it. That's the author identity. I'm going to be talking about this again on Thursday night during the writing clinic, and it's free 99. I hope to see you there with a friend. Bring a pen pal, right? Somebody who you want to be your pen pal. And let's do some pen pal bonding. There's some people that are bringing their daughters. I can't wait to see this. Mother-daughter pen pal bonding. This is going to be phenomenal. The first clinic, we ended up having, how many people do we have? 60 signed up, about 30 showed up. And so now we have 100 people that are registered. And I don't know how many people are going to show up, but it's going to be freaking phenomenal anyway. It's going to be awesome. So I hope to see you in the Zoom room for the writing clinic on Thursday. And if you got value from this conversation, leave a post, leave a comment, send me a message in my DM. I'm always checking. If you're watching this on the replay, thank you, replay. I love you, replay. You're so awesome. You could be on any channel. I don't take this for granted. You can be on any channel, but you're on this channel with me. And I appreciate you. It's been over an hour and I am about to go because I have a dinner date tonight, but I so appreciate you guys being here for me, for yourself, and for everybody who's in the audience. Happy reading, happy writing. I'll see you in the next live stream. Bye.